How's it going, everybody? So these are my first model kits. They're both Titanics, they're both small, they're both cheap, and poorly made. So I bought myself a better one. This one's a lot bigger, and it's 1:400 scale, and it's made by Academy. I started unboxing it, and there was a lot of sprues. So much stuff, it's actually crazy. Look at this big black hull. What did you think I was going to say? Anywho, I started unboxing all the sprues, and there was so much that they actually fell down, which is a rare occurrence. This kit came out in 2018, and so it's pretty new. All the parts are quite nice, and it was quite fun to unbox. I then labeled all the sprues, and there's so much stuff, it went off my desk and onto other desks I had around. I then started assembly by taking out all these little support beams and gluing them in the hull. I'm assuming these are to stop bowing and stuff, not the company, bowing as in things bending. I then added the anchors and propeller shafts. I then started on the bow, adding these bollards, which are used for ropes. And yeah, there was a lot of those, and it was pretty fun to assemble. Then I added a cowl vent, more ballards, and more vents. After adding all the winches, that was done, and I started on the stern. I was just gluing down some walls, because this will actually be inside the hull a little bit. And yeah, just gluing down all these walls. They fit together really nice. It's really nice about working at a larger scale, as things fit together way better. And then added these benches for the third class, the poor. And yeah, that was pretty fun. They fit together quite nicely, and didn't come out when I turned it upside down. Then added some more ballards like I did earlier. And then added these white thingies. I think they're to support the docking bridge, which I just added. This is used for in the dock. It has an extra steering wheel that's connected right to the steering gear. And then added more vents. I then added these thermo tanks, which are used to actually control air temperature inside of the ship by using steam and running air pipes through the steam. I then added another vent and another winch, and it was onto the cargo crane. I then assembled this dude, but then he was a little lonely, so I gave him some friends. I then glued down this wall, and that went pretty nice. It looks pretty good. The only issue is there's no wall for the other side, and then glued down that guy and his friends that we made earlier. And yeah, it looked pretty good. And then did the same thing on the other side, gluing down more of these cargo cranes, and it looked pretty nice. Then started work on one of the decks, cutting out walls and putting them back on, and yeah, went pretty well. There was a lot of walls to cut out. And then started gluing them down on the bow, which is what I'm doing now. And then the middle section, which you can actually see a miniature grand staircase in there, which I think is pretty neat. And then just kept working my way down. And then just assembled these all into one like little area at the back, which actually has the other grand staircase, which I think is a really neat detail. I then cut out more walls for the A-deck promenade, which is open on most sides. Titanic actually had its A-deck promenade the same as Olympic, but then as Olympic started its journeys, they realized that passengers didn't need that much walking space, so they plated it over. And then started work on the deck houses. This one is the mostly officer's deck house. It contains the grand staircase and funnel casings for funnel number 1 and 2, and most importantly, the bridge. I then glued down the inner wheelhouse. This is where the steering wheel would be protected from weather, except for being out there. There were actually two in the bridge, one enclosed and one not. I then glued down the walls to the ceiling instead of the deck, because that would just make it easier to assemble. Then glued down the glass dome, which kind of died in the sinking. Then glued down this vent, which goes all the way to the boiler room to ventilate it. And then I cut out a cal vent and left it on my desk to die.
Bro, please, bro. Why you do...
Thankfully, the kit came with extras. Now it's ventilation time. I then glued down collapsible lifeboats A and B. Collapsible lifeboat B was actually taken command of by Second Officer Charles Lightaller during the sinking after it flipped upside down. I then glued down all the stuff on the roof of the first class lounge, and that went pretty swimmingly, I guess. Then added these little dividers. Don't really know what they're used for. And yeah. But then I started work on the engineer's deck house. This skylight actually, right here, went all the way down to the engine room. So that's pretty cool. There's even the engineer's smoking room built into this skylight. I then started work on the second class staircase. Unlike the first class staircase, it actually had an elevator that went all the way up to the boat deck, unlike the first class one, which just went down to A deck. I think that's pretty cool. That's what this little box is, for the winches for the elevators. It's now time for the base of funnel number 3, the last functioning funnel on Titanic. Just glued down some walls. I'm not sure what's underneath the funnel. Probably some more crew spaces, I assume. And yeah, I then started work on the dummy funnel, which was actually used as a break room for engineers. They could climb up on top, and there was actually like a little deck up there. And then glued down the actual base for funnel number 4, the more elevated part. And yeah, that was going pretty good. I then started work gluing stuff down to the boat deck. This was pretty fun. I was just hanging out, listening to a certain Australian fellow, which is very fun. And yeah, just gluing down all this stuff. After all these benches and stuff were done, it was all ready to varnish so I could give the deck a wash and all that. But then this happened. Time to varnish the Titanic. Okay, so real life Drake here. So I was just about to paint with my airbrush. As you can see, it's taken apart because it would basically send bubbles through the paint thing because it was backfiring. I take it apart to see what's happening, and this is broken. If it would focus, you can see on the back the bolt is completely sheared off and stuck in there. So I have no idea how I'm going to finish this in time. This really sucks. Because, I mean, that's what I get for getting a freaking $20 airbrush off Amazon.
3 days later.
I got a replacement thingamabob. I don't need these. Oh, these are glass. And here's the actual, if I can, my cat is screaming at me. Okay, here's the thingy. It looks very similar construction to my other one. So I'm probably just gonna steal the nozzle from it. I then primed the hull and there was a lot of tape to peel, so I'm gonna let the brainless ones feed. After that, it was all primed, but the Titanic's lower hull isn't gray, so I then started painting the yellow shear line, and sorry about the low quality footage, I accidentally recorded that through Discord, and then this happened. I think my airbrush is glitching. I have red paint in, right? Look at the color of the paint coming out. Why is it yellow? Don't worry, I figured it out. Then I flipped my cutting mat over to the painting side, and it was time to paint the hull a very historically accurate, more pink color than a red. Titanic's hull was actually more pink than red, which is kind of been lost to time. But I painted it the correct color, and yeah, it was really fun to use an airbrush for the first time on a model instead of, the ground for a diorama. And yeah, it sprayed really well, and it may look like an uneven coat, but I went back maybe 5 more times to even out the coat, so it may look bad now, but it looked great after. Time to boost audience retention again. I then had some minor touch-ups to do on the hull with a brush, and then I started adding little details to the little tinier ballards on the deck and other deck machinery, just painting them black. Not the song by AC/DC, even though it's a great song, but yeah, it was pretty fun, and yeah, it looked quite nice after. Then did the same thing to the stern, sped up the footage a little bit more because I already did it on the bow, and yeah, it looked quite nice after all, like just adding that little variety of color. Then painted all these winches green. And yeah, after that it looked very nice. And then did the same thing to the back, and yeah. Then painted the top of these ballards with gold, which I think looks quite nice in the finished product. And yeah, did the same thing to the stern. It looked absolutely amazing. I then painted the covers for Titanic's infamous lifeboats. A bunch of people criticize it for not having enough, but almost every other ship in history up to that point didn't have enough. Everything was then finally ready for varnishing, and I got a spray can this time, and then I just started washing the decks, which made them look so much nicer and just absolutely amazing. Now it's time for the painful part, the railing. This was very tedious, but it made the ship look so much better. But yeah, I think it looks great, despite for how tedious it is. I think it's absolutely worth the effort. And it just looked absolutely awesome. Then everything was all washed, and it was, well, onto the lifeboats, which I added the davits for. And yeah, Titanic was originally going to have 2 sets of lifeboat, inboard and outboard, and then all the way around the deck, but then they were cut out. And then I just painted the incorrectly colored funnels, which were colored orange for some reason. And I started, assembling them. And yeah, looked absolutely very nice. And then I just duplicated them. Now it was time for the final assembly. I glued down all these white areas and then the main walls for the superstructure, which made the ship look awesome. I'm very pleased with how it looks. I then placed down the deck and lined it all up, got it looking nice, and it looks pretty good. I then added stairs and railings to the back, mostly just the stairs this time. And then I added the A deck and the boat deck, and that took a little bit to get into place. Then I added the ship's face, as it's called, with the bridge and all that. Then added these cargo holds, which, made it so there's not just a gaping hole in the middle of my model. And then added the skylight to the engineer's deck house, which made it look great. And then I just added the superstructure deck house, and then added funnel number 1 and number 2 onto it, and it looks great. Then I added the cover for the grand staircase. Then I added the basing for funnel number 3, and the engineer's deck house, and the basing for funnel number 4. Also, look at that gap. And basing for number 4, glued down the last funnel, and then worked on the cargo cranes for the back. Then added the mast, which looks pretty good. Then I added Titanic's 3 propellers, which look great. They're actually a bit controversial in this kit, propeller blade numbers. Then I added railings to the back, and then the docking bridge. This was by far the worst part of the build, but looked pretty good in the end. The stairs, more railings, and the railings to this part. You can kind of see I didn't really line up the superstructure great. Then I added the railings to the bow, which look really good. Then I added these little rope things to climb up under the crow's nest. And I just got all that done and added the other ones for the back. And then I added the crow's nest where they spotted the iceberg, and it was done. Okay, time for the review. So price, it was pretty good. It's regular $130 plus on Amazon, but I got it for $75 at my local hobby store. I'll give that a 10 out of 10. Build time, I took 7 hours and 21 minutes to build it, which was calculated by all the building footage I had. I'll give that a 7.5 out of 10. The enjoyability, well, everything fit into place pretty well, and it was pretty fun to build, aside from my airbrush dying. So I'll give it an 8.7 out of 10. The quality, I'll give it a 7.3 out of 10 because things fit together well, but I had trouble with the decks lining up, and they, had some gaps in between them, and same with the deck houses. But yeah, that all totals up to a 34.5 out of 40, or a 86.25%. A very nice score. Anywho, well, that's all I'll subject you to today. So I'm just gonna put down the gun I had pointed at you while you weren't looking and watching this video. You're free to leave now. Bye-bye. Okay, first one of my videos in a while. That feels nice. At the time of recording, this end card is currently 9:52 on December 26th, so Boxing Day, exactly 1 year from when I posted my first video. So I'm kind of time crunching to get this out. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed. Discord servers in the description if you want to talk to me, see what Harrison and I are up. We chat in there momentarily sometimes. But yeah, you all have a good day, and bye-bye. Also, Harrison is dead because I challenged him to a duel after he converted me into fertilizer for his English cucumber. So I killed him.